Good morning. It is 10:31, so I'd like to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the April town meeting. I'm noticing the attendance at the Residents Council meeting is starting to outdo us here at the town meeting. So I think that's a good thing, but hopefully we can keep getting folks to join us. Before we go ahead and get started, I'd like to welcome some new residents. I think their pictures are up on the bulletin board, so if you see them, please do take the time to extend a welcome. Mrs. Judy Harper in apartment 513, Mrs. Angelica Shriver in apartment 236, and Mrs. Marie Verinis in apartment 2205. To help us get started this morning, I'm going to ask Maria LaSala to come on up and give us a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, friends. Good morning. I'm Maria LaSala, the Spiritual Care Coordinator, and it's good to be with you today. I don't know about you, but spring has surely been slow in coming, hasn't it? And as I look out, I see a lot of you in sweaters still. Now, many of you might know that my dress palette is normally black and gray, and this morning I said to myself, I can't stand before my friends at Whitney Center in black and gray. And so I pulled a green shirt out of my closet because I thought if nothing else, I would speak and live spring into being. So I hope I don't shock you that I'm not wearing black today, and I hope you can appreciate the greening of spring, because we know it's coming. Flower buds are appearing, the grass is shimmering green, plants bloom. And if we are lucky here in Connecticut, spring will stay a while, inviting us to enjoy the colors and the fragrance and the sweetness. Letting things linger in life can be a good thing, like taking intentional time to slow down, to stop and smell the roses, we might say, to say hello to friends along Main Street or in the bistro or wherever you find yourself on any given day. So it will be my hope that as warmer spring days arrive, we will take time to look around and see the earth renew itself, renewing us. Renewal is a good word for spring and for this time in our lives, because we look to new possibilities always. And we delight in the ways that we continue to learn and grow. As a community, we look out for each other and encourage those who have struggled a bit in body, mind, and spirit. And while we look for signs of renewed life, we must also take time to remember friends from our community whose lives have ended. Since our last town meeting gathering, Gloria Schoolfield, Ike Kalishman, John Fenn, and Vivian Lowell have died. The wisdom writer from Ecclesiastes reminds us that there is a time to be born and a time to die. And there is also a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. A time, really, for every matter under heaven. So I invite you to join me in a moment of silence as we give thanks for the lives of these friends and of others who we miss still. Friends, I don't want to end on a note of sadness, so instead, I will invite you to see in the weeks ahead signs of spring, of hope, of joy, for these are present morning by morning and day by day. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Maria. I'd like to ask Mrs. Susie Weisinger to come on up, and she has a couple, I think, of announcements from the Residents' Council.
Well, good morning. First, I want to say that after listening to Maria LaSala, I have so many thoughts in my mind that it will be a little difficult for me to concentrate on what I was going to tell you about. What I want to take the opportunity to do today is to announce that the Residents Committee will hold their semi-annual meeting. This will happen on May 9, which is a Monday, so please mark your calendars. The purpose of the Semi-Annual Residents Association is to keep all of us, all the residents, informed of what is happening and what has happened at Whitney Center in the past 6 months. For this purpose, we will ask every single chair committee to come up and make a brief presentation of their activities for the first 6 months of the year, and also of what their plans are for the next 6 months. You will have the opportunity to ask questions and make suggestions as well. Light refreshments will be provided, and we hope that you take advantage of this meeting to socialize with one and another. Now that spring is here, we probably have a lot more to talk to each other about. So again, this meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 9th at 1:15 in the CAC. It will not be recorded or shown on channel 102, so we ask that you make every effort to attend. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Weisinger. Okay, so we're going to start off our departmental reports focusing on two of our major goals for this year, the first being our focus on workforce. And so to lead us off, Karen Lushing, who's our Vice President for Employee Services, is just going to give us an update on our recruitment efforts, right, Karen? So if you want to come on up and do that.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Karen Lushings. I am the Vice President of Employee Services. Really excited to be embarking on our new year and this focus on our workforce, all of our team members. So today, I just want to share where we have been as far as recruiting and bringing new team members into our community. So in the month of April, we welcomed 19 new team members. So they are here across the community. So if you see some new faces, please welcome them and say hello. We are currently actively working with 11 new candidates to welcome into the community in the month of May. So that number will probably increase as time goes by. Currently, right now, we do have 7 open full-time positions that we're currently and actively recruiting and hiring for. So while we are focusing very much on recruiting and bringing people in, as the year goes on, we're also really focusing on what can we do to help support our team members that are here so that they feel that they are part of the community, supported, where they are actively engaged and part of the team as well. And that's it. Any questions? All right, thank you.
So next month, Karen will have a little bit more expansive report because we are taking a lot of time and putting a lot of effort into not only our recruitment to make sure that we have a full staff, but our retention efforts. And retention really speaks to our ability to keep those team members whom we want to stay here at Whitney Center, right? We can talk about turnover, and that's probably a more familiar term to you, and that doesn't quite give us an accurate picture of what we're after. We want the good people whom we hire and we ask to join us to stay here. And we want to be able to do everything we can to provide them with an environment of psychological safety where they feel connected to something bigger than themselves, the organization, the community, to the point where they feel a sense of belonging and therefore are compelled to contribute their best every day. And so that's a major focus for us this year. And we've chosen that route to address the global workforce issues that we are experiencing with all of our peer organizations across the country and across the world, because we believe that a stable community that is a compelling workplace where people want to come and work and get fulfillment is the long-term key to that recruitment and retention effort that is always ongoing. So our second major goal that we're focusing on this year is technology and rolling out a couple of big technology platforms or pieces of software really that are essentially behind the scenes, but nonetheless have dramatic impact on our ability to do the work that we do and deliver a level of quality that to which we aspire. So I'm going to ask Rafael Avila, our Vice President for Technology Services, to give that report.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So as Mike mentioned, I am Rafael Avila, Vice President of Technology. And I'd like to start off this morning, for those of you that have known and worked with Tim McWade for the last 7 years, Tim has decided to grab an opportunity with another organization, and we really do wish him all the best. Though we'll miss him, this stuff kind of happens, right? Tim took advantage of our grants and our ongoing education. He was able to really learn some new skills and accelerate his career. So it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that. So we're actively looking to fill the position. As Mike mentioned, there are a lot of software systems and applications that we're currently working on, and not everything we do is necessarily customer facing, right? Like the internet upgrades, TV, phone. There's a lot of technology behind the scenes that allows us to really run our business. But ultimately, we hope that even though they're behind the scene systems, that they do have some level of impact to you all. So I'm just going to run down a few things that we're working on. For starters, we are in the midst of upgrading, actually totally replacing our cost accounting system. The goal there is, improve efficiency, improve our reporting, get a little more business intelligence, data, ultimately, the direct impact to you might be, I know there's some challenges with our statements, kind of like the level of detail and the look and feel of those, so we hope that this system is really going to improve that. And then ultimately, the system offers us an opportunity to implement an online payment portal. So for those that would prefer to pay your statements online versus writing a check, that ability will be there. Secondly, we are, and this is all initiatives that we're really currently working on. There are various go-live dates. The cost accounting system will be officially live on June 1. But we're working on replacing our electronic medical record system and our general billing software. And that system will be implemented for pretty much all levels of care. And it's a much more modern system than what we have now. So I won't bore you with all the details, but in the end, it gives us more integration with our lab partners, our radiology partners, integration with Yale Health System. So you see in the end, rather than having to collect information to improve outcomes and relying on faxes and phone calls. Integration offers us the ability to receive data directly from Yale and other health partners into our system. And we expect to have to be fully live with our new EMR system on October of this year. Last town meeting, I talked briefly about our K4 community application, and lots of excitement building there. So basically, there's a few components to this system. One would be the sort of improved digital signage in the community. Right now, we rely on the three little 32-inch televisions or the kiosks around Main Street to get information. We want to improve that. So we will be looking to deploy this year with likely expanding next year a total of 4 75-inch screens in the community. And we think they would be located at the south reception, the north reception, right here outside the cultural arts, and one in the bistro. And the digital signage will display, information, menus, what's going on in the community, et cetera. The second piece to that is an expansion to our community, our in-house community channel, Channel 102. So we'll be looking to improve that by adding some additional content that comes with the system, like exercise videos, music, those sorts of things. And we are actually exploring the possibility of implementing an additional in-house channel, Channel 101, we think it's going to be called, where we will use it more for in-house purposes to live stream events, talks, things like that. So we're looking at all those possibilities. And the K4 community system also includes a resident and family app. So right now, many of you rely on mywclife.org, and you head over there and you kind of see what's going on in the community. That's sort of a more like a computer-based, web-based system. So the K4 is a true app. You'll sign on and you'll see what's going on in dining, what's new in the community, calendars, events. You'll be able to sign up for things through there, and potentially the integration to our work order system and our point of sale system through the app. So if you want to put a work order in, you don't have to call the front desk, you don't have to log into a separate system, you can do it through the app. If you want to see what your points balance is in dining, you can look at it through the app. Excited about that. Yeah, and then, right, the resident directory, right? Little excitement about that last time we talked about it. And it's really neat because the resident directory will be completely digitized in the app, and you can search, you can see photos, you can search by phone number, you can search by interest, right? You could video call somebody through the app, you can text somebody through the app, so it just enables for much more connectivity without having to venture onto separate systems. Let's see, we are looking to expand our security cameras on campus. And what we're trying to accomplish there is to create a virtual fence line around the community to just sort of improve our security posture. And what that might look like is if a vehicle was to kind of wander in at, say, 2 a.m. in the morning, we can configure the cameras so that it detects that there is a vehicle, or it can detect that there is a person walking. And it will alert our team members that somebody is on the campus. Additionally, as a deterrence, we're looking to install strobe lights, a few strobe lights in key areas. So if someone was to come in at 2 in the morning in their car for malpurposes, right, or to case the place, the strobe lights will go off. So that would be their indicator that, hey, we know you're here. And it'll also alert our security team members as well. So we're in the midst of doing that and adding additional cameras around the exterior of the campus as well. Pardon me. Robotics. Robotics is something that we've added to our technology plan this year. And a few things that we're doing there. I know that Ken and some of you have been working to try to overcome some of the challenges with, excuse me one second, I just need a glass of water, pardon me.
While Raph is getting the water, let me just say, for those of you who are not as comfortable with technology, when he was talking about the app and the resident directory and all the communication, don't fret. We are not simply going to do away with what we currently have in favor of digitized communication and connection. We recognize that not everyone's at the same place, and so we're going to walk that fine line of transitioning over time and providing resources and the help that some of you will seek and some of you won't, and we accept that that's part of our reality here. So don't fret that suddenly you're going to be out of the loop once we transition to these things.
Much better, thanks. I took Dayquil this morning, and it's dried me up, and it's got me feeling weird, but I promise I don't have COVID, I promise. So, some of you have been working with Ken, and we've been looking to overcome some of the challenges with our internal transportation. Golf carts are too big, our corridors just aren't really conducive to having something drive through them. So, we reached out to an organization called WHILL, WHILL. It's a Japanese company, and they have designed a autonomous wheelchair, a self-driving wheelchair. Really fancy looking. It's got an integrated little screen on it, and basically the way the system operates is we might have one located, say, somewhere here by South Reception, and you sit on the vehicle, and the little screen comes on, and you click a quick, I agree to the terms and conditions for safety. It has a little seatbelt, right? And the next screen that comes up is the locations in the community. So you might select the bistro, and the thing will drive you to the bistro. And then after you get off the system, it waits a few minutes, and then it returns itself back. So very neat. It operates at about 1.5 miles per hour, very safe. It works on LiDAR technology, excuse me. So it's very aware of its surroundings, people. It stops, right, if things are in their way. It even has an audible alert to tell you to get out of the way. I'm coming through. Very, very cool stuff. So we're looking. So the company doesn't really have a presence in the U.S. In senior living or healthcare hospitals, and they're very eager to come on out here and trial this system for us. The systems can be found in many airports in the U.S., but a community like ours will be a first for them. So they're excited to come out. They want to trial this. They want to bring their machines out here, and we want them to. So we're looking probably June. I'm going to say mid-June, they will come out. We know for sure they're going to come out with 2 of the machines. I don't know what to call them yet. Machines, chairs, whatever. Vehicles, there we go. We'll have to give them names. But they're looking to come out for 2 for sure, potentially 3 or 4. Some resources are freed up for them. And we'll have many of you get on this thing, take it for a ride, just really see how it operates and really get your good, honest insight and feedback on the system. The system's a little expensive. I'll put it out there. We're looking at best, $3,000 per vehicle per month. Yeah, per month. So very expensive, along with some professional services and fees to get the thing. Yeah, so we're excited about that. The other area in robotics we're looking at is autonomous or self-driving vacuums and sweepers. So we've got a company coming out called SoftBank Robotics coming out next month. They're going to demonstrate for us these little vacuums. You kind of might see things similar at Stop and Shop that drive around, but our idea there is to implement these for our common areas, right? The 6 or 7 floors in our buildings, and let them go and vacuum, sweep along Main Street, all on its own. So we're excited about that. We're looking at that, and it's certainly not to, folks sometimes worry that we're looking to replace people with technology, and it's typically not the first place we go, right? We want to sort of supplement. Workforce is a priority for the organization. So, how can we sort of combine the two? is what we're looking to do. And those are 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 5 or 6 things we have going on this year. More information to come out as we begin to dive deeper and implement these things, particularly with the resident app and the signage. And lastly, I just want to mention that we have a technology task force that we've created, and I just want to read the purpose of the task force. I'm going to read it from our charter, and then just a few comments about that. The purpose of Whitney Center's Technology Task Force is to help those we serve experience our mission, excellence in senior living, by improving and enriching the quality of their lives through technology-related opportunities for meeting their changing needs and preferences. The task force serves as a resource to management for the identification and prioritization of focus areas in which technology solutions can be developed to support the well-being goals of our customers. And we meet once a month, and the task force, I really welcome this task force because what it does for us is they're not so much kind of like telling us what systems to look at or what to buy, but it gives us an opportunity for us to present to the committee or the task force what we're thinking of doing, and it just lends a perspective from you that I wouldn't necessarily have, right, or my team or management wouldn't necessarily have, like the autonomous vehicles. I'm 52 years old. I've been dealing with technology half my life, and it's easy for me, right? It's not a big deal for me to sit and click the thing, and but we need to really make sure that we understand the perspective of our customers, right? It might look and feel different for someone who's older, someone who hasn't used technology all their lives, right? Someone who's just might be afraid of it. It's a really neat thing to gain, and we have some board members, we have residents on the task force, and they do lend a lot of their opinions and really good insight into how we should look at things differently. And if Mike, if you want to add any other comments about the committee, but so that's my report, and I'll be happy to take questions. Let's just get you a mic, Herb, so we can get you on audio for those that are watching from home.
Did you have a question?
A question and a request. The request, I want in on that task force. Thank you. The question has to do with the K4 app rollout. Any timetables yet as to, I know there's phases and so on, but are you closer to having a timetable for the various phases?
I want it to be a little ambitious and say June. But it's the most complicated component of the rollout, right? The digital signage is kind of easy. The in-house channel, we already have one, so it's kind of simple. But the app is going to involve, it's a broader reaching application, and our plan, at least right now, is that each department that has responsibility to push out information, resident services, dining, communications, et cetera, we believe that it might be the time to shift that to the department level so that dining will enter their own content, et cetera, right? So it's going to require us to do a lot of training with the departments, really understanding the type of content they're putting out. Is the content that we are delivering now via Care Merge and paper meaningful, right? Do you want to see less? Is there really more that you want to see? So we really want to understand all of those things. So. And the task force actually recommended that when we do roll out the app, that we not just put it all out there at once, that maybe we take it in pieces. Maybe since there was a lot of excitement about the resident phone directory the last time we met, that is a good starting point. Let's get the app deployed, let's get everybody using the directory, reaching out to each other, then maybe we can layer on some additional things. So. Long answer to say we hope end of June, but it could be July. End of July. That's my hope.
Hi.
This isn't an entirely serious question, but don't I, with respect to these autonomous wheelchairs, don't I remember that when horseless carriages came along, they required having a flag man walk in front of them that, as they went about their business?
Yeah.
Have you given any thought to flag men for these?
No, we hope the technology just is able to see it, and we hope it stops. No, we know it will. We know they're pretty safe. They're pretty safe.
I have,
Yes.
I was wondering, you talked about access to medical information. Are you thinking of something like MyChart, Epic, or something?
We are thinking about that. Not in this first phase. However, yeah, access to your medical records, right? You have the right to access your medical records, right? Whether it's through technology or you want them on paper. So the system we're looking at offers that ability. We're not looking to do that just yet. This is a very complex project. It's actually going to take us 8 months to get through it. But we would be looking to layer on those features in the future, where you'd have an app and be able to see your Whitney Center records. For sure.
Yes, hi. I want to focus on self-driving technology. I'm an engineer for a long time. I taught electrical engineering for many, many years at Columbia. I'm well aware of all the pitfalls of self-driving technology, and you see about it in the papers all the time. And I'm concerned about having self-driving technology here at a senior center where people of all kinds congregate on Main Street. And this requires knowing in advance and programming in advance all the possibilities that may happen with people walking. I don't believe it's possible. We see this all the time, for example, in the papers, with self-driving vehicles out in the world where mistakes are made every once in a while. But I can see it happening here, because this system has to have programmed into it all the possible things that might happen with somebody walking, somebody on a self-driving vehicle that they themselves are driving, and I don't see it's possible to program this kind of thing. So I'm against this with all my mind. I'd like to serve in the technology task force as well, but I think this is an impossible situation.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that feedback, right? So I would answer by saying this: when the company comes out to trial it, let's have you be the first one to sit on it, take the spin, and I will be the first one to jump in front of it to see if it stops. But seriously, I do appreciate that, and that's why we need to bring the machine out. We need to really go through it thoroughly and make sure it meets our needs and make sure that it's safe and secure. But I hear you, but let's see what it offers. Thank you.
Going on to a more positive side of the thing, when you talked about the directory in the app, is it going to be possible, am I echoing? Oh,
No.
Is it going to be possible for the resident to choose to enter more about themselves, whether it's where they were born, the college they went to, in other words, so that we could get to know people through the directory?
Yeah, the really nice thing about the directory and the app is that if you opt in, and we hope many of you will opt in, the ability, you won't be able to enter your own biography. We'll have to work it through our team members. But the more information we put in your biography in the app, that would allow someone, like, let's say I go to the directory and type in the word golf, and there's 10 residents that put golf because they have an interest. All 10 of those residents will show up for them, right? So it gives the opportunity to connect to someone that has like interests, yes. Maybe went to the same school. Yeah, so, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. Yep, last question, please.
Yeah, but your comments about increased or improved surveillance on campus, we have a somewhat archaic system here. When you fall down, you press the button. Unfortunately, we found that it doesn't work in many parts of the campus, and we've had some of our residents, for example, up in the garden, fall down and be left there. What are the possibilities for extending the button system or something like it?
So I would just challenge the comment that it's not an archaic system. In fact, it's very sophisticated, and when you do press your pendant on campus, we know exactly what your location is. unlike some of the other systems, cellular-based that use Google Maps that kind of give you where you might be location. We are aware that there is no PERS coverage in the North Gardens. We're aware of that. And it's tough to get something out there right now. And we'll certainly, it's come up, I believe, through the safety committee, and I believe there's some conversation behind that, perhaps a capital project next year. But listen, what it would require us to do is to put a pole out there, wire electricity, put fiber out there, trench from through the parking lot, so we can get coverage out there. It's not impossible, but we just need to plan our resources accordingly to do it. So there's no coverage in that area, and there's really no coverage in the sidewalk in front of the building either, right? Because we don't have systems that sort of reach out there. But it's definitely something we're looking at.
Don't fall.
What's that?
Don't fall.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to address a couple things. I wanted to cut the questions off for now. At the end, we can come back and ask more questions, so I apologize for that because we have more reports. But speaking of technology, I'd like to make it a practice because more and more are carrying around our smartphones. When we start meetings, it would be really cool if we all took out our phones and turned them off or put them. No, there's no. I'm not scolding anyone. But just as a matter of people being able to hear, right? Let's face it, it's not. My wife tells me my hearing's going, and it might be selective. I don't know, but yes. But please. So let's get in the habit of turning them off, or at least putting them on vibrate if you're expecting a call or something like that. Thank you. With respect to the request to be on the task force, on the technology task force, so that's not Raphael's decision. It is a task force made up of board members, and we have 2 residents currently. We have Bitsy Clark, who's not a technologist, right? But certainly well-connected and has great perspective from the resident experience, in fact, the non-technology experience. And we have Carol Gelstad, who's also on that, who is a bit more technology-minded. In fact, I believe she was the one that brought the Will product to Raphael's attention. And so they're the 2 residents on there right now. And I respect the fact, and I appreciate the fact that others want to join. We are going to look to grow that, perhaps not on the task force proper, but having work groups around some of these projects, built around some of the projects. Herb, I actually mentioned your name to the chair of that task force last week, and we are going to be talking to you because you've had a lot of positive impact to our technology mindset here. So we'll be talking to you about that. Thank you. Okay. In fact, one of the things we're looking at with that technology task force is our version of what we'll call, and some of you will know this term, a resident geek squad. You see, with all of these projects happening, I am very concerned about Raphael's time and his bandwidth and his team's bandwidth to take care of all the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes to bring these solutions to the fore, as well as respond to questions like, can you move an icon on my desktop from one place to another? Or can you show me how to save a document? Or can you remind me how to do this or that? Those are all legitimate requests. We don't have the bandwidth to take care of that. And so we need to devise a way to maybe do this. Herb has been great in terms of education, providing classes, but we as a community need to figure this one out. Okay? Thank you. And then let's see. I think that was it. I wrote down tech plan, but I'm not sure what that meant. So anyway, let's keep going. So thank you for that. Michelle Stocking is going to come on up and give a clinical report on behalf of Peggy Joyce. Peggy, after we convinced Peggy to take some well-needed time off, unfortunately she fell ill this week, and so she's home. She's paying attention to things, but it's better that she follow her own advice and just work from the house until she feels better. So Michelle's going to report on her behalf.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Stocking. I am the supervisor of assisted living, and I do have a few updates for you, so I will start with the COVID update. We have 2 team members and 1 resident currently positive for COVID. They all are unrelated. So we did our contact tracing and everyone was not in contact with each other, so we consider those unrelated. We did have our booster clinics last Friday and this Monday, and we gave a total of 231 boosters over the 2 days. So we will be having a makeup clinic sometime next week to catch the remaining just handful of people that weren't able to come to one of those clinics. The third thing is we have a new audiologist, Janice Howard, who is coming today for a presentation right in the CAC here at 2 o'clock. So if you are able to attend, please come to her presentation. She'll be talking about communication as it relates to hearing difficulties. And you can meet her and start to schedule your appointments if you're in need of that. And the last thing is our healthcare committee is now under the leadership of Betsy Stern. And we have a new program where residents are visiting other residents in their apartments and in the memory support area and the health center. So they're going to, it's a neighbor to neighbor type of activity. So if anyone is interested in that, I want you to reach out to Betsy Stern to see how you can help with that and visit different residents that are requiring different help or help with activities or just some companionship. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay, is Michelle Pandolfi here? I didn't see her. Hi.
I'm Michelle Pandolfi.
You're
today.
Michelle Pandolfi today? All right, Robert, thank you. So, yeah.
I cut my hair.
So Robert Schmelzer, our exercise physiologist, will be reporting on behalf of Michelle Pandolfi, who's our Vice President for Enrichment Services.
Okay, thank you. Everybody's so tall, I always have to move this mic down. Okay, so as Mike mentioned, I'm Robert Schmelzer. I'm the exercise physiologist here, and I am part of the Enrichment Services team. And I'm going to read off the report, so I hope you don't mind me looking down at the paper, but I don't want to miss anything. So, the CRT, the Community Resource Team, part of the Enrichment Service team, as a reminder, and especially for new residents, is comprised of Maria Lasala, who's our Spiritual Care Coordinator, and she addresses your spiritual health. Laura Sorensen, who addresses your emotional and mental health. Myself and my team, who address your movement and fitness health. And finally, the resident liaisons, Mary, Wanda, and Debbie, who address questions and help you navigate through Whitney Center. From a spiritual care update, Sunday morning church, welcoming the Sabbath, praying the Psalms, Holy Communion, and Women in the Bible will be held in May. Be sure to check out the MyWC Life newsletter and calendar for details about these programs. And as always, Maria is available to sit, talk, reflect, and pray with anybody. You all received a notice from the Resident Council with a reminder to see your liaisons if you're interested in receiving the brochure that outlines your healthcare coverage per your residency agreement. From a movement and fitness standpoint, where our programs are open in the fitness center and the pool, feel free to stop down and see Justin or Jackie for some services. We are going to be offering a new program this next week. It's a walking workshop, so it's a 6-week series for anyone interested. I've had great interest so far, so please reach out to me if you do want to sign up or learn more. And also I wanted to announce that many of you know Justin Urbina, our exercise specialist, who's fairly new to the program. I want to announce that, very happy news that he's now here 5 days a week, expanding his week to a full week, full 40-hour employment, helping us to work the small group coaching program, other programs throughout the building, including the memory care and the health center. Okay, so feel free to congratulate Justin and just get a chance to meet him. He's a really nice guy. So Thrive at Home is also part of the Enrichment Services team, and Thrive at Home is a membership program designed to provide life care for people who prefer to stay in their homes and are not ready to move to campus like Whitney Center, and with the benefit of 24/7 care coverage. Thrive at Home has several applications in process this month and is happy to welcome the newest members, Ina Jaffe of Hamden, Shirley Pripstein of Hamden. The membership has 75 active members and 86 overall. Thrive at Home's team has grown too. We're happy to announce Rachel Hunt to the team. Rachel joins us this Tuesday, well, this past Tuesday. She will serve as a personal service partner for Thrive at Home. With Rachel joining the team, we're happy to announce that Tricia Delela has been promoted to program manager. Tricia helped shape and grow the program these past 5 years, and we're so happy for her new role. So congratulations to Tricia and welcome Rachel, and they're both sitting right back there, if you don't know them. Thrive at Home is kind of sometimes not, top of mind for residents on campus, but they're, it's an awesome program and they're great people to know. And that's it. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, residents. My name's Ken Sandberg. I'm the Vice President of our Lifestyle Services. I'm going to first have Maria Frater, who is Director of our Resident Services, come up and give her update, and then Thomas Hudson will come up and give his update on dining. Then I'll follow back up and give a quick update on facilities and a few other little updates, and then we'll certainly take some questions after that. So, Maria.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy spring. Though my autumn outfit and colors palette doesn't really show that, but I followed the weather report this morning, and it seemed a little chilly. So thank you so much today for attending today's meeting. As Ken said, I'm Director of Resident Services. Resident Services provides customer-focused services for the community, which includes the front desk reception, safety, security, transportation, and salon services on Main. From the programming side of the department, we also assist residents with special projects, offer live and virtual cultural experiences, as well as coordinating trips. And that's why I get to the good part. I'm really excited to announce the date schedules for the upcoming trip schedule. You will all be receiving, it'll be a general BCC email to residents as well as Thrive at Home members on the calendar. And it'll also include the names of the residents who will be going on the trip, so you can kind of compare notes and see who's going to be your bus partner, so to speak. The first trip to be coming up, I'm really excited, and I know I'm so happy to developing this somewhat of relationship with the Legacy Theater, is this coming Thursday on May 5th. Several residents will be attending the musical I Do, I Do. And then on May 10th, there will be a trip to the Breakers Mansion in Newport organized by the West Haven Senior Center. I'd like to announce that what's wonderful is Donna McLennan, who is working as a receptionist for us, but is the program planner for the West Haven senior community, has arranged with DATCO to actually come here to pick anyone up who is going on those trips, those long-distance trips, here directly from Whitney Center and returning you here as well, as opposed to having to go to a drop-off point. So I'm really appreciated Donna for all the extra effort she made to make that happen. So that will be great. In addition to those trips, I'm just giving you the big ones right now, but you'll be getting all of them in the calendar. Mark your calendars for those of you going to the Flo Griswolds. That'll be on June 17th. On June 22nd will be the New Britain Museum trip. On July 7th will be the trip to the Wadsworth. And possibly on June 29th, we'll have the trip to the Hillstead Museum. And of course, a trip down to the Next Haven Gallery is also on the calendar, but with no confirmed dates yet. We also have trips going to Foxwoods on July 13th. That sounds like a great trip. And then August 3rd to the Newport Playhouse, and then on September 21st to Goodspeed to see 42nd Street. So a lot of wonderful things happening. Also, keeping in the theme of programs and cultural events, the upcoming Sunday concert schedule calendar is under construction. I'm happy to say that there will be a cabaret series of 3 wonderful performances here, as well as a unique kind of spin on the Sunday concerts with several multimedia presentations, which we have not done before. But after a response to Steve Gurney's playlist presentation, which went over so well, we thought we would change things up a bit. But there will be music on Sundays, I promise you. And I'm also thrilled to say that the Elm Shakespeare Company will be back in Edgerton Park in August with a performance of The Tempest. So all in all, it promises to be a fabulous spring and summer. So thank you very much. And when we can give you time for asking questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, and ask some of them too. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. All right. We work with it today. First, I'd like to say, as Maria has noted, colors are very important. I chose blue today, specifically because it's noted that blue evokes trust, honesty, loyalty, and confidence. So my hope is that you will think of those 4 things as I give my report and the content thereof. So first thing I'd like to talk about today is the fact that we've made some alterations to our service. I'm sure everyone by now has seen, has experienced the changes we had to make over the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to extend that for another 2 weeks. What I would like to say in that regard is that I want to say thank you. I appreciate the way it has been received. I'll be very honest, I have not received a complaint to this point, neither in writing nor in voice. And if you remember those 4 things, we will keep it that way, hopefully. We're caught in these situations every now and then, and we have to play the game based on how the ball is thrown at us. As Mike has explained, we do experience turnover for a number of different reasons. One I'd like to make very clear and state in a profound way is that we're responsible for your dining experience. We're responsible for creating and nurturing that experience. And with that comes standards. You will find from time to time that high standards is an uncomfortable place for some people. And we will have people who embrace it, and we'll have people who don't. So we will always experience these moments when we go up and down with our staffing, and I hope you understand and have patience with us as we make the moves we need to make. So as I said, we will probably have to maintain our service as it is, and the changes we made for another 2 weeks, and we'll assess during that period, and if we need to continue or we're able to get back to regular service, we will definitely let you know in a timely fashion. One thing I did hear is that within this period we had a buffet, and I heard that it was very well received last week, Thursday. I've had a number of residents come up to me and say that was really a wonderful experience. And I know that the food is a part of it, but I think the most important thing is that people felt it was a great opportunity to fellowship and engage with people that they don't normally engage with on a weekly basis. So having received that feedback, we are looking at a possibility of having a buffet of that sort in Center Stage, probably on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. But I'll talk with my team and we'll see how we can make that happen, and we'll definitely get the word out to you. Mother's Day. We know everyone always wants to know what's happening on Mother's Day and so on and so forth. Over the next couple of days, maybe 2 or so days, we will announce what our service will look like on that day. I know there's another occasion taking place, but from where the other venues are concerned, we'd like to get some word out as to what we're doing, so we will let you know in a memo or in all the forums, as Raphael has explained. We will get some messages out as to what's happening on Mother's Day. Next week, Thursday, is Cinco de Mayo. Does anyone celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Do we all know what Cinco de Mayo represents? Oh, all right. So my little history lessons are of no use. I was Googling stuff to tell you, but anyway. What we've decided to do, Thursday is Cinco de Mayo, so we're going to switch our Tuesday buffet in the pub to Thursday, so that we have that Mexican-themed meal on Thursday, and on Tuesday would be pasta night in the buffet. So just remember, we're going to think to have a little fun with it. So if you have any Mexican garb or hats, feel free to walk around. I think it'll add a nice little flavor to the day. I'm thinking to have all-day margaritas available. So we'll put some messages out on that and let you know what's going on. That was the extent of my report. Are we taking questions now, or are you going to take in general? All right. You want me to just take his question quickly?
I'm coming.
You want me to just take his quickly?
I wanted to thank you and your staff for a wonderful Seder last week. Thank you.
It was our pleasure. I will pass that on to them. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So there seems to be a theme about colors and what people wear. White, and I'm colorblind. So usually white just goes with everything, and I don't have to bother my wife, so I can't help it. So anyhow, couple of quick updates just on the facility side. Next week, we will be replacing out our generator by the garage. So there's going to be some activity out there. There's going to be some more information in the memo coming out tomorrow from Special Projects, but we will have to move a few of the cars around. So we'll get in touch with those people that it will impact. So just so everybody's aware of that. The other thing is special thanks to the facilities staff, the maintenance staff for getting most of the outdoor furniture out. That's always a rush this time of the year, and usually we have a lot more warmer days, so people are always knocking on our doors. When's the furniture going to be out? When's the furniture going to be out? It's been cold, so I'm not sure how many people are sitting outside, but nonetheless, we have the furniture out, so that's a beautiful thing. Just in terms of some of the things that I've been working on with some of the residents here that I think is important to update, and I'll just, for some of our newer residents, I think it's, I'll frame it out a little bit for you. The organization in 2021 really wanted to put a lot of effort into government affairs and really being a force within the town of Hampden in our state. We really want to make sure that we get an opportunity to have an influence with our legislatures. So we actually developed at the board level, we actually developed the Government Affairs Committee at the board level, but not only that, we work very close with a Government Affairs Resident Advisory Council. And it's been very, very active in the past year, and I will say that Erwin Braverman and Phyllis are actually on the board committee of our Government Affairs Committee. And the advisory council is actually made up of Erwin Braverman, Phyllis Medvedow, Susie Weisinger, Esther Crystal, Greg Seaman, and John Tully. And we've been very active. We already met with Mike D'Agostino, who's our state rep. We met with Senator Looney, who's our senator rep for Hampden. And a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned at the resident council meeting, we met with Justin Farmer, who's our town of Hampden representative as well. And when we met with Justin, he also brought along another council person within Hampden, Lori Sweet. Lori actually is a councilor at large in Hampden, but lives in our district, District 5. And through the conversations, we found out that there's another council member in Hampden, Katie Kiley, who lives in our district. So as you can see, there's a lot of people of influence that live in our district. So we're going to actually be setting up meetings in the coming weeks and months with these people as well. But a big draw to bring Justin in was really working with our community. It started with our lecture committee that brought in Justin Farmer to talk about the Olin Powder Farm. And from there, we're combining our government affairs committee and our conservation committee to participate in the development of the future of the Olin Powder Farm. In fact, there's actually a coalition going on right now that's meeting every other week. And we have a resident, two residents, Joe Blumberg and Nancy Rosenbaum, who's the chair of our conservation committee, that is actually going to those meetings. And I bring this up because this is really about community. It's not residents or management, it's us as a community making an impact. The importance of our council, our resident council and our resident committees, that you actually make a difference here, and working very closely with all of you. So I bring that up because for those of you that are new here, getting involved in our committees are critically important. Your voice matters, you matter, and you have a lot to offer us. So I look forward to continuing working very closely with our resident council and very closely with our committees, and we'll certainly be giving more and more updates of the impact that your committees have in this community. So thank you. Yeah, I can take questions now if there's.
There was a communication with the police department at one time, and I'm just curious, has that communication been ongoing? I don't notice police cars going through our, the driveways, but I just wondered what the status of that was.
Yeah. So we still have communications with. We have a representative from the town, from the police department. I'm still in communication with him when needed. There should be more cars going through here. I will check in with him on the frequency of that. But we are still in communications with the police. Absolutely. So I have his email and I have his cell phone number.
I have a short comment and a short question. Regarding the resident directory, could we have something like that with staff directory that at least gives what departments they work in, with photographs? Think about it, please.
Yeah.
And the other.
I just want to quickly answer it. The app will have a staff directory.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
All the staff. Okay. And quickly, I suspect that those fancy cars, seats that drive, might be safer than some of our current drivers.
I won't comment on the current drivers, but I will say when we did the demonstration with them, they're constantly tweaking the technology. So when they started it off, they actually started with the vehicle going 3 miles an hour. They realized that was too fast, so they dialed it back to 1.5 miles an hour. And as we said, when we do the demo here, Raf's going to be the person that's going to fall in front of the wheelchair. So he's already committed to that. So that'll be fun to watch that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we've exceeded our hour. I try to get these meetings done in an hour. We have a marketing update and a finance update. Are you willing to sit through those? Okay, all right. Sean? So Sean's our Vice President for Marketing, and he's going to give us a brief snapshot.
I'm glad everybody's willing to sit through my update. Just to give you guys a quick snapshot like I do at each meeting, We currently have 23 apartments that are available. 57% of those are one bedroom or studio, and 43% are 2 bedrooms. 17 of those are located in the north building, and then we have 6 available in the south building. There are currently 6 apartments that are reserved, and everyone who has reserved those apartments has been approved. So they're through the process, so now it's just getting those apartments ready for people to make the move. We have had 3 new residents move in since our last town hall, and the team has taken 1 new reservation since our last town hall. Our occupancy right now is averaging 87%, so we're staying in that 87, 88, 89 range. That's largely due to releases. We're moving more folks in. We're having our best first quarter in years, but we also have a lot of releases. To date, we've had 8 residents move in. We had 2 move into the north building. We've had 6 move into the south building. We continue to advertise. You'll start to see we're going to be back in some of the local newspapers. There's going to be some digital advertising. If you see it on Facebook, don't click it because I have to pay for it if you click it. And then as far as Thrive at Home goes, we've added 7 new members. We have 3 people who are in process. So they've completed their paperwork, and now it's up to Tricia and team to go out and meet with them and approve them. But we have 3 of those, and as Robert said, we have 75 current members. The health center, we continue to maintain right around 31, 32 on a bed count of 35, and that's largely driven by staffing. And then the team continues to work on both new leads and existing leads. And as always, the best leads are referrals from residents here. So if you have friends, if you have people that you want to invite to come to the campus, let Dawn, let Colleen know, let me know, and we're happy to reach out to them. Okay? Any questions while I'm up here? All right. How was that, Mike?
Perfect.
All right, good.
It was perfect. That's good news. Thanks. And now here comes the man. Yes, I'm going to ask Jeff Devaney, who tends to be the briefest amongst us all, is our Vice President for Finance, will give a financial update.
Thank you, Mike. As Mike said, I'm Jeff Devaney, Vice President of Finance. First of all, I'm glad Sean did not dress like me today. I just have a few brief updates on finance. We're completing our 21 audit. That's pretty much behind us, which is a lot of additional work for our department, so it's good to get that behind us. I'll have printouts of the audit if anybody wants to ever pick one up. Probably by the end of May, we'll have the official copies out. Other than that, in this year, we completed our first quarter at the end of March. Our revenue was down a little bit. Just as Sean said, our releases have been more than we budgeted this year, but our expenses came in on budget, and our entry fees are actually above budget for the first quarter. So we're doing well overall. As Raf said, we're in the midst of a technology upgrade. We're putting in a whole new accounting system. This is more back office. I don't think you'll really see any changes right now. You'll see them more when the PCC goes in October. So this will really just affect us internally, but we have a June 1 go live date, and we're looking forward to it because the system we're using now is basically out of date and kind of clunky. Other than that, Lisa Borgnine has left officially, but she is doing some part-time work for us. She does our health center billing, but she does it at night, so she's not available during the day if you have any questions. So please see Ann Matiste if you have any questions on your health center billing. And that's it. I kept it brief. Thank you.
Wow, thanks. Thanks, Jeff. So for those of you who aren't familiar, so every year we do a formal financial audit of our books, our processes, our controls, and that is a practice and a requirement, actually, that we do that, but with an outside agency. So we're completing that, and our Finance Committee is meeting tomorrow to review the report, which is clean, which that means that we're doing everything the way we should be doing, as far as the audit firm can tell. And as Jeff said, that'll be available for anyone who wants to pick up a copy. God bless you. It'll be available in a little bit. And the second thing Jeff said, I want to clarify. So he said PCC. PCC stands for Point Click Care. It is essentially the electronic medical record software that Raf talked about. It is through that software, interestingly enough, that our billing will get done, and that'll feed information into the accounting system. So when we talk about these things, you will see the impact on the billing side, your invoices, as Raf mentioned, once we get that software implemented later in the year. Okay. All right. Just very quickly for me, I'm going to, in 3 minutes, try to adjourn this meeting and move into a conversation about our capital expenditures that I did at the House and Grounds, and I think the Landscape and Gardens Committee was there as well, a couple months ago. So I'm going to do that if you're willing to stay, if you want to stay and that interests you. But before we adjourn, I just want to call your attention to a couple of things. First off, if you didn't get to attend the Death by a Thousand Cuts performance, was that a week ago already? Was it last Thursday? 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, there you go. 2 weeks ago. If you didn't get to attend, it's a shame. It was very good. Our goal is to use that performance to leverage further dialogue with our team members, with our staff, and hopefully our residents, and to continue to build our community by creating a more inclusive community by celebrating our diversity. And I know that might sound a little strange in the way we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, those kinds of things, but I believe that that was a fantastic catalyst for more dialogue to connect us so that we can grow stronger as a community. So that's continuing to happen, and that is related to some work that we're doing with something called the Cultural Competency Task Force, which we formed, last year, maybe the year before, I don't remember. And this is to ensure that we as a community are aware of who we are as a culture and who we're becoming, and how we embrace the growing diversity that we're seeing around us, and eventually here at Whitney Center. And not only with residents and Thrive at Home members, but also our staff, because we are a community here, and we want to make sure that we're paying attention to the nuances of how cultures move and how we can continue to help that effort along. Let's see. And finally, one more word about workforce. So as we mentioned, that's a major goal of ours. Historically, Whitney Center has been very stable. We've had very low turnover numbers, but us, along with the rest of the world, is seeing that shift. And so our role as an employer is shifting. We are aware that in order to remain competitive in terms of attracting good people who want to come and offer their services to you and to the community, we need to shift our paradigm in terms of what the employer-employee relationship looks like. And I can tell you that we are focused on the concepts of connection, belonging, and contribution for every one of our team members. And what that means is that we have to become more concerned with all of the things that they deal with on a daily basis to get to work here. We have to be concerned with things that are similar to the things that we're concerned with for you. For example, nutrition, housing, for them, childcare, transportation, all of these things that our team members, and there's almost 300 of us, deal with on a daily basis that might be barriers to a successful employment experience here. And so our relationship and our being administration, the relationship with our team members is shifting. and hopefully you'll see that over the course of the coming months and throughout the rest of this year. One of the efforts that we're making in this regard is to elevate the skill set of our administrative and management team. All of our supervisors, managers, directors, and our vice presidents, and me, have or are going through a professional development program. And that program includes executive professional coaching that's available on an individual basis and on a group basis. In May, at the end of May, I believe it's the 24th and 25th, we will be taking 40 people to a 2-day workshop. So you'll see some adjustment in schedules, but I wanted to give you some background as to why that's happening. And that workshop is focused on helping every member of the team start to develop the tools and the awareness that we all need so that we can become better resources and better partners with our employees, with our team members. And ultimately, we as a collective group will be able to serve our customers, you and our Thrive at Home members, better. And so you'll see some things happening like that. We are making a concerted effort and investment in this work because we know that if we focus on these relationships, the retention will go up, the turnover will go down, and we have a much more stable workforce for the long term, and we'll continue to attract the good people and with talent and gifts that they're willing to share here. So I just wanted to make you aware of all of that. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, that does it for the town meeting. I want to thank you and maybe just take a minute for anyone who wants to leave. If you want to stay, I'll be talking about the capital expenditure plan and concepts.